Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 1st of July. New quarter, new month. Yesterday was crazy. By the way, I have to apologize. I'm a little bit late today. I've just been getting ready later and later. I don't know what my deal is, but anyways. So here's the volume profile for the E-mini. So yesterday we kind of, I thought that we were going to go down, and we actually did have a little bit of that in through here. But ultimately that trade didn't work out. We flipped and went long. It seemed like there was a lot of news yesterday, and the markets just kind of shrugged it off. For instance, there was the ADP unemployment change wasn't very good. Sorry, not ADP. That's this morning. The ADP isn't very good. Excuse me. Hold on. Let's turn on text-to-speech while we're doing this. Ishmael, good morning. Sunday. Hey, Leandro, good morning. Oh my gosh, you guys all this morning. Everybody's saying hi. Thank you so much. Okay, back to it. We had what was it? The Chicago PMI wasn't very good. And then consumer sentiment was good. But then the coronavirus cases came out, and that was actually kind of good, but it's like early in the week and those numbers don't really matter. So when we had a big spike up, I was like, okay, we're done. Even though we were a little short of the 70, but look, then we got the 70 and did a pullback, which is our first target as usual. And I was done for the day, and I came in and I said, well, the upside target is 3,100. I really don't think that we're going to get 3,100, but that's where it is. And so then it kept going. One of the things that came through was that Huawei is getting hit by the FCC as a national security threat, I guess, which basically bars them from being used in the United States. I believe that's a pretty big deal. And markets did take a plunge off of it. But again, it just ignores it. So I think what's going on here is we had an end of month imbalance. A lot of analysts were saying that it was going to be a sell imbalance, and they were just dead wrong. And I don't know what the cause of that is, but there was some crazy imbalance. Like if we come over here into the footprint chart, make it really big for you guys, right? Going into the close, look at this volume. This is insane. This whole area between 30.95 and 30.80. That is crazy. But then the thing is all of that forced buying into the close, and now overnight, zoom out a little bit, down, and now that we're getting ADP, we've been going down. So now we're basically below that area. So on a technical basis, I think a lot of people are going to read that as rejection. That 3,100 got rejected. I don't necessarily read it that way, but it's all incredibly interesting. Oil this morning getting hit pretty hard. Okay. Another big thing yesterday that we should keep an eye on is gold. Gold just was, gold was on a roll yesterday. They've pulling back today and come back quite a bit, but that 1,800, that's a pretty big psychological level for the market. So. Treasuries were also really interesting yesterday because they took, normally you tend to see like end of month buying in the treasuries, but they just let it get creamed. I mean, like the treasuries like really got slaughtered yesterday. And it wasn't even necessarily so much volume. I mean, if we come into the footprint and we come back and look at when it was getting creamed, like the amount of volume that we were trading on the way down, it wasn't actually that spectacular, right? They just kind of let it drop. And then at the end of the day, you had, it was right here. At the end of the day, then they bought it up, and then you see a bunch of volume. So it looks like there was the end of month buying, but they basically waited until the end of the day to do it because they knew that the equities were going to be buying up. So I think that paints a pretty good picture of what happened yesterday. So coming into today, of course, there's going to be a couple of key levels around us, but in particular, yesterday's close, and then kind of this area, I'm going to put it 3065 that we tested overnight. Is also going to be a spot that I think the market is going to pay a lot of attention to. Yes, and then we do have, so we had ADP. Like I said, the ADP came out at 2,369,000 versus an estimated 3 million. So that wasn't very good, and it does look like that the market kind of, well, I don't know. It does actually kind of looks like they're kind of ignoring it. So, but let's see here. What else do we have today? We've got market manufacturing PMI at 945. We got construction spending, ISM manufacturing. So we got some news to run us today. We've got, well, today's what? Wednesday, right? So on Wednesdays, there's always a good amount of volume. And given that it's the first day of the month, we'll probably see some interest today. And what else? What else we got going? We got some Fed speakers. I don't know if those are super significant, but anyways, do some reading. Oh, we got
Wu says good morning, slightly smiling face.
Slightly smiling. Hey, that's a new name. So welcome to the stream. Thank you guys very much. Ooh, that was a lot. Yesterday was a interesting day, and I think we haven't. It's some interesting setups for today because of that. Live Squawk tweets ECB's look hard. Worst is behind us for the economy. Hardest is yet to come. Pre-recorded video. Okay. Donald Trump Biden was asked questions at his so-called press conference yesterday where he read the answers from a teleprompter. That means he was given the questions just like Cricket Hillary. Never have seen this before. Yes, I saw stories about that, and I thought that was really crazy.
Ishay Almali says, where are you getting the S targets for each day?
Good question. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find it for you. So the targets that I use for the day are based on the VIX. So the thing that was really interesting about yesterday was that we basically had our target was at 3,100, and look at how nicely they go up there, right? The dots are the targets. If I can zoom in so you can see it. Look at that. They go right to first target, pull back, right to second target. Now that one they reached for it, but hey, they did it. Yeah, and it's kind of sitting there like, haven't you ever been on a trend day? You're like, man, they're just going up and up and up and up, and you have no clue where they're going to go to. Well, now you know. So here it is in Trading View. So I'm just going to come over here and go into my profile, and I have the script right here. So you can come over here to this script on Trading View. You can look at the code. It's basically the VIX divided by 16 is a percent, and then that becomes the percent. You times the index by that percent, and then that's how you get the targets. But you can just use the Trading View. But anyways, you can just click add to favorite scripts, and then you should be able to come into your chart and add them. All right. So I'm gonna post that here in the chat. I need to make a video about this. I guess I'm gonna.
Speculator
I want to do
Seth
some
Day
more
Trading
stuff.
says
It might be a month before I make a video on it. I'm gonna make that like my, when the markets get going and we come back to the fall, that's gonna be like my video. But I will also want to make a little scatter plot for you guys. Well, I don't know. I don't know how I want to do it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, of course, the version for TradingView is available for you guys already. There's also a NinjaTrader version. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video explaining how it works. And I'm going to make the NinjaTrader indicator available for free. And then I have another indicator that is a scatter plot that will show you what every other day has been like and what the current day is, in a little diagram. And I'll make that one available, but for like super cheap. I'll charge it, but it'll be super cheap. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a volume coming in here now that they're back into that 80 range. Remember, 80 was where we had all that crazy volume yesterday. So that doesn't mean that level is relevant anymore. Okay, remember, we don't want to get caught into we're always going to get caught into I'm always going to get caught into the technical analysis trap.
Ishay
We
Almoli
just
says,
remember.
Seth, do you trade only when the cash market is open?
Generally speaking, yes, yeah. I have had some good trades when like it was nighttime and something crazy was going on, like when we attacked Iran or whenever it was. Man, we've all forgotten about that. You guys remember that? And oil just went like super crazy. Whew. Oh yeah, back when oil was like over $50. Woo. But generally speaking, I only trade like the first 2 hours of the markets. So the as soon as the treasury market gets going, and the pre-market, and then the first hour or two of the E-mini. Because after 9:30 my time, 11:30 Eastern time is when the London market closes. And after that, a lot of liquidity is gone. And so I don't really think it's worth it to trade after that. Unless something's happening, you know? Yesterday would have been one of those few days where it was really worth it to just keep going. Donald Trump. No corroborating evidence. Tibet reports Department of Defense. Do people still not understand that this is all made up fake news media hoax started to slander me and the Republican Party? I was never briefed because any info that they may have had did not rise to that level. See, this is an interagency dispute, this thing. It's just from what we've learned on it now. I think at the beginning it was something that could potentially impact markets, but now that we've gone through it, I don't think that it is. This looks like an interagency dispute. There's somebody out there that thinks that the intelligence is really credible and that they should be doing something about it. And he's really mad that the president never did anything about it. But then there's another group of people that think that the intelligence is not credible and prevented it from even getting to the president. Or at least that's what Donald Trump is saying. He could be lying, I suppose. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, we don't want to fall into the technical analysis trap that because there was a lot of interest here yesterday, that there should be a lot of interest here today. But that still makes the area interesting to us, right?
RJ Wheel says attempt to derail peace.
Could be. I mean, the thing that I find so interesting about it is like, what do you want the president to do? I mean, if you had hard evidence that you could show the world that the Russians were putting bounties out and paying them to attack U.S. soldiers, then that would be one thing. And then you could, I don't know, implement sanctions against Russia, except for that we're already implementing sanctions. So, like, you know what I mean? It seems like it's a thing that there's not a whole lot you can do about it, except for to be upset. But there's this is where I have real issues with what's going on in some of our agencies, our intelligence, our agencies, and the security apparatus and all of that is
RJ
that
Wheels says, I wonder what the CIA was up to in the early 80s in USSR Afghan war.
they're starting to act as an independent entity with its own opinion, trying to make certain things happen. They think that we should be at war with Russia. They want to have a war with Russia, as far as I can tell. And the president has basically said, no, we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. And the agency should be going along with what the commander in chief says, and they're not. It's not cool. Anyways, we're probably gonna have a lot of politics today. I'm noticing. So we've had this news cycle now where it's like, oh, uh, coronavirus, Black Lives Matters, rioting in the streets, Donald Trump poll numbers are awful.
RJ Wheels says Trump said that at first debate in 2015. Why fight with Russia?
So this has been the environment that we've had. Last night I saw some things that says to me that we're having an inflection point. The first thing is the incident in Provo. So this has not been getting a lot of widespread media attention. In fact, here in Utah, I'm quite upset because the news organizations, for instance, KSL is the main, the big news channel here in Utah, not pushing this story at all. This is literally the biggest story of the year, and they had it halfway down the page. It wasn't even above the fold. Like, it's like they don't want people to hear the story.
Sunday Driver says Russia bounty story is fake news.
But essentially, a protester shot a motorist in Provo yesterday. I think maybe a lot of people are starting to pick on this. Well, it wasn't yesterday. Like, that's the thing that was crazy, is that it happened on Monday, and people didn't find out about it until a day later because the news literally just didn't report on it. But when I started going out like Hot Air and Reddit, and well, not Reddit anymore. Reddit is there's nothing conservative on Reddit anymore. But the Donald and other news platforms, this was like the highest interest story. So conservatives have we've kind of had the anti-Charlottesville moment, and the media is trying to ignore it. But conservatives have picked up on it, and it's having a significant impact on them because it is now turning into, oh hey, we've been having all of this stuff has been happening. We've kind of sat back and just said, oh, we're gonna let it fizzle out. And I don't think that it means that people are gonna go out in the streets and start having a shooting war or anything like that. But I think after this incident, the Republicans and conservatives are not going to be quiet anymore. They're not, because you're literally, you just drive down the wrong road and you get shot in the shoulder is what's happening. So that's a change, right? Make no doubt about it. That's a change. And these people, there's a lot of question about their Donald Trump's base. They'll be depressed, and will they show up? You better bet they're going to show up, because in their minds, it is life or death now. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second one that I saw come out yesterday was the open from Tucker Carlson. So I don't have television. I don't have cable television.
Sunday Driver says these Antifa are so annoying. Wait until they get what they want and there's no police. What will happen is that people will know they can bag as many Antifa as they want.
So I don't watch cable news, but I was seeing a lot of people highlight the open from Tucker Carlson last night. And I watched it, and I thought it was a significant rant. And the essential thing that came out of it was, he said Republicans should be demanding three things. They should be demanding equality under the law, free speech, and what was the third one? I don't even remember. In the law, free speech. I don't know. They were simple things. Like that was the thing. They were simple things. Um, and one of the problems that the Republican Party has had has been like, okay, if you put us in power, if you continue to put us in power, what are we going to do? What is it going to be different from what we're doing right now? Because a lot of people feel like that the Republican Party has just not been doing what they were put in office to do. Well, now they are going to rally around this thing from Tucker Carlson. Like make no doubt about it, it is going to be Tucker Carlson's party. This like the Tea Party thing. Remember Rick Santelli came out and he made that speech, and then all of these people came out to the Tea Party events, and it was a big driving force in the Republican Party for a long time, and all of the Republican leaders kind of tried to say that they were in favor of the Tea Party, but the Tea Party didn't really have a very well thought out agenda, and so eventually it kind of fizzled out, and because a lot of the things that they wanted were crazy. But now what you've got is this guy on television that is handing the GOP the playbook, right? This is what the voters should be demanding, and you make sure that your
Winston's
representative
mom
takes
says
it.
good morning.
Good morning, Win. So this is a big change, and this is going to create an inflection point too. If this really turns into a movement and the politicians respond to it as they should, I think that it's going to be a really positive thing for the enthusiasm on the right. So I think that you may start to see things even back out, and some of these poll numbers and so forth revert back to their
RJ
means.
Wheels says
to
Biden
some
appearance
extent.
yesterday riddled with cognitive issues. He almost trotted out the dog-faved pony soldiers line again.
Yeah. And then it's just becoming more and more clear that Biden is not cognitively up to the task. So we'll see. But I think that the political environment is about to change again. So. And hey, it would make sense. Yesterday was like the end of the quarter. Markets are probably about to move into a new regime too. So. ECB's Lagarde says worst is behind for the economy, but the hardest is yet to come. What? Okay. I guess that's kind of an oxymoron, but. So I'm seeing a little bit of downside movement in the treasuries, but the book is still, bid. So I'm wondering if they're gonna push for it or not. It kind of looks like over in the E-mini that the buyers are making their push. Like they had a downturn starting from 85, and they've retraced it. So they're gonna want to come up and test yesterday's close at 30.90. Let's see. I'm skeptical about their ability to hold the number from yesterday, because I think that 3100 happened largely because of an imbalance that only existed from the end of the quarter. So we would need new drivers to do it. Just my opinion. You see, so Scott Adams tweeting here. This is exactly what I'm saying, guys. If Biden is elected, there's a good chance you will be dead within the year. This is the mindset change that the right is going through. They've been saying it, but they really think this now. Brannigan Barrett, a thought to ponder. The dollar index rallied only once the Bank of England and the ECB began balance sheet expansion. From 2015, it began to normalize and taper. The spread between the bond and the U.S. 10-year bill peaked with Powell flip at the end of 2018. The spread has moved from 2.75% to 1%. In big picture context, this points to a very difficult environment for further dollar appreciation. Growth will be the key dynamic to watch for the dollar trend. If Europe begins to grow with all fiscal response and outperform the U.S., the dollar has significant downside. Okay, Brannigan, but a lot of people really do not believe that the European companies are going to outperform the United States ones. It's an interesting take, but I think that it's driven far more on just the way that the money is flowing. Like people are concerned now about the amount of debt that the United States is taking on. In Europe, they don't care about that stuff. Well, that would be something to watch, though. I think he's keying on an important point in the market. Okay, so they've pushed now to the other side of this distribution at 3086. So they're kind of back to where they were. Can they push up again? Seattle police chief says police will be in protest area on Wednesday morning to enforce the mayor's 48-hour emergency order to vacate the area. Oh, so they're clearing it today. Oh, Thomas Sawell. I love this Thomas Sawell account, but apparently it's not actually him. It's just somebody that posts quotes from him. Both the Sicilian mafia and the criminal tongs in China began as movements to defend the oppressed, so perhaps we should not be so painfully surprised that vulnerable American civil rights organizations have begun to degenerate into extortion rackets. I was pointing out there's a pretty aggressive seller here. Something's definitely happening in the 5-year. I can see some large orders in the 5-year kind of tinkering around. European stock markets suffer 3-hour outage due to technical issue. That's curious.
Winston's mom says now seems like a good time to ask everyone to please hit like, thumbs up, thanks.
Thank you for that win. Okay, so there was just some orders hitting into the treasury, and then accompanied by some aggressive buying in the E-mini. Okay, COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech shows positive results. Oh.
Marco says good morning regards from Argentina.
Hey, good morning, Marco. Welcome back.
Sunday Driver says where's the thumbs down button? Kidding.
I mean, you can give me the thumbs down. It still helps the video. Just means that you're less likely to see my videos recommended in the future.
Winston's mom says Marco good morning.
Okay, so Ian Shepherdson's pointing out the massive 5.8 million upward revision to the May ADP employment means nothing. They backfit the data to the official payroll numbers. It doesn't tell us anything about June. Okay. Well, they're going to go because of this vaccine thing, right? The market has been trained to say, "Oh, vaccine news, good, bye." And 3093. Oh yeah, 3093 the high. I'm not. I think there's a really high probability that we go up to 3100. But first of all, vaccine news just doesn't excite me, and second of all, I don't think that the risk reward and everything is really that attractive to me. We've certainly moved quite a bit these past 30 minutes or so since we've been on the stream and just watching it. Now, I should be careful. We are going to see other participants start to come into the market here now. As it comes to the top of the hour. Okay, so the Treasury just ticked up. Curiously enough, there was some significant offers on there and they ticked up. ZB is actually 2 ticks up now. What's Igar thinking? There's something weird. I wonder what is going on. Bloomberg, Hong Kong wakes up to a new reality as China begins enforcing new sweeping security law that could reshape the city forever. If you live in Hong Kong, get out. I mean, you should have gotten out a year ago, but so unfortunate. So unfortunate, guys. Okay, yeah, this is they are just like hyper over here in the E-mini man. It is like, yay, more vaccine news, Party Central. Yeah.
Sunday Driver says UK to give citizenship to 3 million Hong Kong citizens. Not sure what to think of that.
Why is that? Why do you say that? Of course they did that. And Taiwan open, was saying anybody can come over.
That guy says yep, S is on fire.
S is on fire. I just don't, I don't know, man. I don't think that the vaccine news means shit, but there's no way you fight that, right? You don't fight this. No way. Like, this is now
Sunday
like,
Driver says that is more people than live in Wales. Total disruption of UK culture.
yeah, but there's not. How would they get there, Sunday Driver? Don't you see? Like, if they can get there, then that's something else. But they're not going to be allowed to leave. It's what do you say? It's a gesture, you know. But nobody in Hong Kong is going to be allowed to just move, or they all would do it, and China wouldn't have anything left. And frankly, I mean, the thing that's crazy about it is that China has basically turned this into an issue of control. Like, they're willing. I mean, Hong Kong doesn't have any of its special financial
Sunday Driver
designations
says
and
China is
stuff.
not likely to restrict travel. I don't think.
Well, if they're not, then everybody should move. Um, yeah, the whole thing is like the U.S. removed the special designation that Hong Kong has, and everything else like that. Like, China would rather destroy Hong Kong than not be in control.
Uzi Knesset says in fairness, at the very least HK values will be similar to UK. Yeah, no, as opposed to all the EU imports from Islamic fundamentalist war zones.
Not true, Uzi. And unfortunately,
Sunday Driver says I think China will be happy to have them leave and fill Hong Kong with Chinese.
yeah, the people in Hong Kong have a very. So my father was a LDS missionary in Hong Kong, so he lived there for 2 years. He talked about
Sunday
the
Driver says
stories.
that's true. I guess. HK greater than Islamic refugees.
They when he would walk around, they would call him. They were always called white devils. That's what they were called. The Chinese people thought that they were evil. Yeah. Um. So they have very different values and culture from the majority of London, but the people that are coming over will believe in freedom, and so that's good. I wouldn't like be concerned about it, like they're gonna ruin London or anything like that. But I don't think that very many of them are going to be able to get over there. I could be wrong. Hmm. This is a story from National Review. Sounds a little crazy. Biden and Dems are set to abolish the suburbs. How is that? Mm-mm. Hmm. Okay, so there's 3,100, and now they're above yesterday's high. I'm still kind of waiting for like a spot. There was a spot at 94. I don't think I want to participate in this, to be honest. Okay, well the treasuries did push down. That was 8K at 31.
Sunday Driver says people keep saying these refugees believe in freedom. I don't buy it. The more they show up, it seems, the more freedoms get eroded. Surveys show new immigrants do not favor free speech, 2A, etc.
Oh, the Chinese would definitely win.
That guy says I got lucky and got in at the bottom, 67.25.
Oh, jeez, dude. That's an amazing run. I'm just I know that I'm passing up some opportunity here, but I know the way the vaccine news goes and everything, and it's vaccine doesn't affect shouldn't affect anything. Like how many times can you price in good vaccine news that's supposed to push them right? Like I just don't see it. And frankly, what we're seeing in the e-mini at the moment is like a parabolic move. It's a dangerous move, Saint frankly. Like probably you're going to make money from being long, but if it decides to go lower, it's probably going to fall back really hard. So buying it at this point is really, really risky, right? Because the upside is limited and we could see this drop 20 points just like that.
Kevin Wimmer says WTF, I went away for like 40 minutes and we went from low of the day to yesterday's high. What
Right?
happened?
There was positive news about vaccines. Let me find the exact one. COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech shows positive results. Stat article. Read further here. That's it. They heard vaccine and they bought. This is where I find these moves are kind of, in my opinion, crazy. Like I just let me read it to you. The Pfizer studies randomly assigned 45 patients to get one of 3 doses of the vaccine or placebo. 12 received a 10 microgram dose, 12 a 30 microgram dose, 12 a 100 microgram dose, and 9 a placebo. The 100 microgram dose caused fever in half of the patients. A second dose was not given at that level. Following a second injection 3 weeks later of the other doses, 8.3 of the participants in the 10 milligram group and 75% of those in the 30 milligram group developed fevers. More than 50% of the patients who received one of those doses reported some kind of adverse event, including fever and sleep disturbances. None of these side effects was deemed serious, meaning they did not result in hospitalization or disability or were life-threatening. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. The vaccine generated antibodies against SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, and some of these antibodies were
Kevin Wimmer
neutralizing,
says moving 40 points in like an hour is always crazy lol.
meaning that they appear to prevent the virus from functioning. Levels of neutralizing body antibodies were 1.8 to 2.8 times the level of that in the recovered patients. It is not certain that higher antibody levels will lead to immunity to the virus. To prove that, Pfizer will need to conduct large studies that aim to prove that people who have received the vaccine are 50% less likely to become infected. Those studies are expected to begin this summer, mostly in the United States. Pfizer is testing 4 different versions of the vaccine, but only one will advance to larger studies. The current study did not include pregnant women. No other information on the ethnic diversity of participants was noted. Second dose, a booster shot was required for immunity. The patients who received a single 100 milligram dose had lower antibody levels than those who received 2 shots of the lower doses. 14 coronavirus 19 vaccines are currently in human trials, according to the Milken Institute, including entrants from Innovo, Cassin, blah, 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 blah. The vaccine is based on a technology called messenger RNA, which uses a genetic messenger found in cells to create a protein that the immune system learns to attack. That's what just moved the stock market up 40 points. You want to buy? Does that make you really bullish about the economy and make you want to buy? No thanks. No thanks. They can do it. Go buy it. Have fun. I will sit here. I will laugh at you when it falls back. If it falls back, I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Twitter's bringing back blue check marks, and I
Nicholas Brown
really
says
want one.
algos just see keyword vaccine and positive sentiment.
That's exactly what. Well, I don't think it's just the algos, Nicholas. I think that there's a bunch of retail traders that have said, "Oh, well, last time there was a vaccine, it worked really well, so let's buy it." And this is where it comes back to like the markets are wrong all the time. The first time that there was positive news about a vaccine, sure, but then ever since then, I don't think it matters because none of this news tells us that the vaccine is going to happen faster or that it's going to be more effective or anything like that, right? The scenario here is
Uzi
still
Knesset says not for nothing, but scalping 40 points on S would call it a
Yeah.
day lol.
the scenario is still that we will have a vaccine sometime early next year. And that's it. This news doesn't change anything. But they react to it. You know that they're going to react to it, so why wouldn't you jump in on it? Well, if you know that fundamentally it doesn't matter, I'm not necessarily going to just go along with the crowd. If I knew that that was coming and I had been in at 70, or let's just say that I happened to go long at 70 and then that news came in, and I'd be like, heck yeah, let's write it. But now, bad idea. We could come back so hard. I mean, we already just came back 6 points pretty quickly. Yeah. You got to be careful when you're in the crowd, especially if at this point you would be late, right? So, of course, we could be wrong. This could just be like the start of an even bigger move, and that we go all the way up to like 3150 or something like that today. I wish that would be crazy, but then I'll be eating my words. But I say sometimes the market is wrong, and it doesn't matter if the crowd goes for it or if I could have made money on it. I'm not interested in trading that the market is wrong. I would rather wait for them to stop being silly and short it. Maybe we could trade it right here. I'm not so sure that that's a good idea, though, with the index about to open in about 15 minutes. So, oh yeah, so I was reading this one from NPR. Sorry, National Review. I've been studying Joe Biden's housing plans, and what I've seen is both surprising and frightening. I expected that President Biden would force the Obama administration's radical, affirmatively furthering fair housing regulation to the hilt. That is exactly what Biden promises to do by itself. That would be more than enough to end American suburbs as we know them, as I've explained here repeatedly at National Review Online. What surprises me is that Biden has actually promised to go much further. Biden has embraced Cory Booker's strategy for ending single-family zoning in the suburbs and creating what you might call little downtowns in the suburbs. Combine the Obama-Biden administration's radical AFFH regulation with Booker's new strategy. I don't see how the suburbs can retain their ability to govern themselves. It will mean the end of local control, the end of a style of living that many people prefer to the city, and therefore end of meaningful choice in how Americans can live. Okay. Now he's talking about annexation strategies. Once Biden starts to enforce AFFH the way Obama's administration originally meant it to work, it will be as if American suburbs have been swallowed up by the cities they surround. They will lose control of their own zoning and development. They will be pressured into a kind of de facto regional revenue redistributions, and they will even be forced to start building high-density, low-income housing. The latter, of course, will require the elimination of single-family zoning. With that, the basic character of the suburbs will disappear at the very moment when the pandemic has made people rethink the advantages of dense urban living. The choice of alternative will be taken away. So they're going to force everybody to build, apartment complexes everywhere, basically, and the middle of their neighborhoods, and that would effectively destroy their political independence because they would get taken over by Democrats. That seems to be what they're suggesting is going to happen. But what was this thing that it's explained repeatedly?
Uzi Knesset says they're doing that in my area.
AFFH is easily one of President Obama's most radical initiatives, on par with Obamacare and its transformative potential. In effect, AFFH gives the government a lever to re-engineer nearly every American neighborhood, imposing a preferred racial and ethnic composition, densifying housing, transportation, and business development in suburb and city alike, and weakening or casting aside the authority of local governments over core responsibilities from zoning.
Uzi Knesset says every bit of free land gets developed into massive apartment complexes. 3-story buildings, hundreds of units to fill with communists.
I'm just reading through it really quickly here, because I don't think that you guys would want to hear all of this. So it sounds like that the initiative is essentially supposed to create incentives so that neighborhoods will be more integrated. And in effect would actually take away the power of local cities to like you live in a suburb and your whole city is nothing but houses, and then the government can come in and and you all say we want it to just be houses, and the federal government can come in and can say nope, you have to build an apartment complex here now. It's not okay. Not okay. I'm going to save that. Maybe post that on Facebook later and see what people say. Because this is interesting that it's an argument that I've never seen before and sounds like something that could be really potent. Because a lot of those suburban people are the ones that are giving Joe Biden the edge right now. And if you come in and you start to say, well, Joe Biden is going to control how your city is developed, that would probably be a really effective argument, you know? Helicopter outside. It's kind of an odd time of day for that. JPY is moving. Kind of just a slow move up there above yesterday's highs in the Japanese yen. Just curious because we've been seeing the treasuries push down. There was that really odd uptick, but now they're dragging them down now. Okay, it sounds like that the Seattle police are now currently clearing out the chop. Watching a video here, I see the police in a staging area At least 12 people have been arrested after refusing to leave the area. Oh, so it's already happening. It is already happening. Hmm. Oh, I forgot that it was Fed Minutes Day. That's a big. Ooh.
E-Trader says missed the breakout, disappointed.
You missing it? It really is too late, right? Well, I mean, when I heard, oh, there's vaccine. When did that actually come out? When did I post that? Iger posted a trade that he made in the equities that I guess he was going short and got blown out by that move. It was short before it happened though. Okay, 655. So by the time I knew what was going on, I could have possibly bought 88. So maybe would have had 4 points if we were holding.
E-Trader says I think there is a strong probability of going long. E-Trader says but volume should follow for that.
So Iger was sharing me something about the tendency of
Winston's mom says your
treasuries on
earthquake video now has over 18K
FOMC.
watches.
Oh, really? No, wait, what? Really? No way. What? I know that it was a lot, but it was not that many. Not that many, no way.
Winston's mom says Ely.
Illy. Okay, let's come in here and look. Overview. Oh. I guess it got a lot of views that one day, but it's not. It doesn't. Well, let's see how it fares overall. So my biggest one was 21,000. The Bitcoin futures, yeah, and that one 18,000. Let's see if I come in here. Reach, yeah. Views. So when you look at it, you can see that we got all of these like 7,000 views like in the first 2 days. And then, it's just kind of gone like that over a long time. So Iger was messaging me and saying, "Yeah, that earthquake video was crazy. Your eyes looked like you saw a monster, dude." Yeah, it was. That was crazy. It's kind of weird to look back on it because in my mind, I don't feel like I've been streaming for that long, but it's been like 3 years, and there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened, right? Because there was the earthquake time, and then before that, there was the one when there was the fire outside of our house. Then that one has a lot of views too. Where's that one? Oh, it's not actually that high up on the list.
RJ Wheel says streaming or screaming.
Well, I didn't scream, but like I have like really buggy eyes, and It looked like my eyes were going to pop out of my head. No, those good times. Good times. Still not as big though as the first stream that I ever did, which was the Bitcoin futures opening. Oh man, that was crazy. Streaming, like your first time streaming and you're streaming to like 5,000 people. Like, what? Okay. Well, I can see here kind of some long-term moving averages at 3090. They open in about 3 minutes. See what they do. I bet you that in the open, I mean, there's probably going to be push both ways. I bet you that there's going to be a sell that makes a pretty heavy excursion into that move we had up. So I was just thinking about what Iger was sharing with me, and because he was talking about the tendency on an FOM's on a minutes FOMC minutes release day, and I'm thinking, well, most of this time it's been easy money all the time sort of stuff. So I wonder, but then people have to hedge themselves on it, right? So if they're concerned about the potential in the report to raise rates, no, to lower rates, they would have to be buying it. But now that it's like we know that they're not going to change anything, I wonder how effective that tendency will actually be today. Well, we should just watch. If I see something turn in the treasury like really hard, we might want to try and go along with it because I don't know if this move over here in the E-mini is really sustainable. What if they just come out and they just sell all day in the E-mini now? That would really shift things up, right? Ugh, live stream fail. Okay, no, the reason we came to Reddit was to see if Top in this hour has anything about the Seattle chop being cleared out. Probably not. Reddit hasn't talked about the chop very much. They seem to want to pretend that it's not happening. Chaz or whatever you call it. Yeah, no, I don't see anything about it. Okay, let's see if the guys on the Donald are talking about it. Top on the hour. Chaz's stand has fallen. Yeah, there is a thread. SPD moves into the chop. They had to do it before the Bikers for Trump showed up on the 4th. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so here's the open. Focus, Seth. Focus. Okay, so right away I do see people going short. Okay. So they were behaving pretty thick on the downside. Now they're pushing on the upside, not nearly as much absorbing. Um, Pushing up there pretty easily, in fact. Oh, what happened over here? Index was outside the bounds of the array. What? Okay, well. Oh, curious. Okay, we're going to have to remove the indicator and add it back on. No. We're going to add it twice. Because I want to figure out later why it's failing.
Sunday driver says in other news. Chaz has been retaken by the police.
I added again, and that doesn't fix it. Okay, well, we don't need it. It's okay. Just ignore it for now. We'll come back later and we will debug it. Must have gotten a data point in there that became corrupted somehow. Okay, so the treasury is
RJ
pushing
Wheels
down
says
there.
what she do?
What'd she do? They cleared out the Chaz. Everything that I can see, the police came in, dozen people or so refused to leave and got arrested. And they've cleared it out mostly without issue. And everybody should be
RJ Wheels
wondering
says
now.
Bono.
Everybody should be wondering now why they didn't do it earlier. Okay, so they are pushing up. They made a new high. And the treasuries are getting creamed as they do it. Oh my. Ooh, whoa. Hold the boat. Hold the boat. Did you see that?
Sunday driver says Antifa showed up at the mayor's house. That freaked her out, so she shut it down. I'm
Yeah.
literally LMAO right now.
Okay, they are hitting into 28.5. I might want to buy the treasury here. Did you see when they pushed up there that somebody came in and shot it down almost 3 points all at once? And then they came up and they pushed further. So there are some people pushing back against this now. And I think that the treasuries are getting like way more out of this than they would imagine. You know what? Let's do it over here. Just gonna wait. Nope. Nope. They're definitely having trouble here. See that? How much it's flickering. I tried. I tried. Okay, there is a lot of volume trading through here in the E-mini. They're playing with it. Okay. So we do have some numbers here. Should remember we do have some numbers at 7:45. Market manufacturing PMI final looking for an estimate of 49.6.
That guy says I just exited. Gonna call it a day, guys.
Good job. A really good job, that guy. Okay. Definitely a battle going on over here in the Treasury.
Gary Rich says let's see if YM can continue up through 969 and close the next candle up.
Okay. They're still fighting the 28. Okay. So 3100, there's a lot of volume going through at. I guess they're saying they think it should stay at 20 with 3100. Oh man, nope. Nope. Gonna bail. That's not incredibly encouraging. Tiger's holding on. Well, okay, so we get about 3 minutes to the PMIs.
RJ Wheel says get through 910,920 area Gary and horse out of barn.
Nope. Thought I would be able to bail on that really quickly if I had to, but nope. So on this one, okay. About 30 seconds. Five. Okay, here's the number.
Gary Rich says Seth looks like he's thinking really hard or seriously constipated.
Okay, so the number is 49 spot 8 versus an estimated 49 spot 6, so number in line.
E-Trader says Fox fired Ed Henry over sexual misconduct.
Don't know who that is.
Sunday Driver says I'm thinking about buying the AT2050 microphone.
Oh, that's not a bad one. This is an XLR. You'd need like a.
eTrader says HAHAHAHAHA. Reaction was epic.
You need an XLR. What are you going to get for the interface, though? Okay, so we do have more numbers here in 10 minutes, but I see some pretty aggressive selling over here. The treasuries are coming back. Okay, yeah. I'm okay with that. Just taking a little profits there because I'm seeing a little bit of distribution because I don't want to take a whole lot of risk on this trade.
Sunday Driver says probably a Scarlet 2i2. Maybe something better. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm using a Scarlet. So I think, yeah, AT2050 is a condenser.
Gary Rich says see I mentioned the disconnect and dislocation between econ news and markets pricing upward. eTrader says did you place an order, Seth?
Yeah. Do you see when I like right here to how there's this column with blue numbers on it? And then there's a price that has a number. So that was my average position, but since I've already taken some profits in there, it's adjusted it. But my average position was from 3104, and I took some profits down in here. And you can see how much I make at each price. The same with over here in the 10-year. 10 years is probably a better example because you can see I got in at 28, and then you see how much you make or lose at each price. So the thing that I would look at Sunday is how good is your room? Like, is it a quiet room? Do you have any kind of treatment
eTrader
in it?
says damn I saw no thing.
Because if you have a lot of background noise and a lot of echo, then usually you want to go with this is a dynamic microphone, so you don't hear a whole lot. Notice since I've switched to this, you can't hear the birds or the kids as well. Versus that kind of microphone is what I had before. You'll get much better. Well, I want to say better sound, but it's more sensitive. So you kind of get a better dynamic range out of it, but it's going to pick up more of the background noise.
Gary Rich says tonight Euro London session gonna be movement. Tomorrow jobs number. Let's jump on this front run the jobs report.
Sunday Driver says pretty quiet. Wouldn't the cardioid setting remove the noise from anywhere but the front?
Well, the cardioid pattern helps, right? If I don't know, you can't really hear that versus in the front. But the thing that's more an issue is like if I speak and it bounces off the monitor, off the back wall, and then back into the monitor, and then you get that echoey effect. The way that I have the microphone set up, because it's a dynamic microphone, you can't really hear it. But if I was using an AT2050, you would be able to hear the ambience of the room a little bit. Now, my room is treated. You can see I've got a little foam in the corner. So you don't get like the bassy echo. But that's the trade-off. The other trade-off with this kind of a microphone is that it's not as loud. You often have to boost the signal. Donald Trump tweets New York City is cutting police dollars by $1 billion, and the New York City mayor is going to paint a big, expensive Black Lives Matter sign on Fifth Avenue, denigrating this luxury avenue. This will further antagonize New York's finest who love New York and vividly remember the horrible BLM chant, pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon. Maybe our great police, who have been neutralized and scorned by a mayor who hates and disrespects them, won't let the symbol of hate be affixed to New York's greatest street. Spend this money fighting crime instead. Okay. Guess not. $3101 offering, 3100 offering a little bit of resistance. Okay, they get through it at that time. Then there was 3098.25 was a pivot. Oh, yeah, the bulls are definitely fighting it. Okay, I am seeing in the 10 years some stacking on the bid. Just overall, there's a little bit more liquidity on the bid side now than there was. I still see the 5-year. I still see big. Okay, so they took out that other pivot. Now 3094.50. Ooh. Ooh. That was fast. That somebody puked there. That was somebody puking. And the liquidity just did not. Look at some of those prices there, like 97. The liquidity was not there at all. Okay, now I am seeing some liquidity at 30.95.
eTrader says fuck what happened. Gary Rich says can't you recognize this pattern? Bad jobs data but the markets move up, except when it comes to COVID cases it trades down. It's being front run right now.
I think you're right. If I'm understanding Gary Rich correctly, I think what he's saying is that people are front running that coronavirus numbers are going to come out in 30 minutes and they're going to be bad. You see, that wasn't even really a part of my calculation, although I do think that it helps. My whole thing was that this bull run has been pushed by bullshit news, and we were high already caused by end of quarter rebalancing. There's no reason for them to hold these prices, especially if any of this economic data or coronavirus numbers that are about to come out are going to be bad. And you kind of got a really great opportunity because you're going to have all of the bulls are going to be all excited because vaccine news when it doesn't matter. And of course, the probability was that momentum continues. Always probability is the momentum continues. But it was to a point where their risk reward to short it was just amazing. So I went for it. And hey, it's working out pretty good so far. I was really nervous about that trade in the 10-year. I was really thinking about just bailing right then and there, but I'm really happy that I held it. So let's see now if they push below, the opening drive that was lower now. So if they're able to push below that, then I think we might start to get some real chaos here, because there was a lot of
Gary Rich
buying.
says VIX touched 29 handle. PMI at 49.5, which 50 is threshold.
Okay. You're right. ISM manufacturing PMI, we're looking for an estimate of 49.5. So I'm a little skeptical, given the Chicago PMI number, that it's going to be that good, because the Chicago PMI number disappointed big time. Yeah, see, they're losing the battle. Like the bulls, they come in here and we're putting their money in, but it's going through them, and they don't have anything more. They don't have any ammunition left. Okay, outside bar there. Might just kind of chill here until the news hits. So I wouldn't, if I was somebody that was like the kind of trader that tries to hit it into lows and cause runs and everything, I wouldn't necessarily be putting on a ton of risk trying to make something like that happen, unless there was, in front of news. I wouldn't be doing that in front of news. Let's see here. Brannigan, final part of bull trap. Price got entire market long, and then the trap was complete, and we had the washout. Hopefully, you managed yourself during the move. Cumulative delta gave the warning. Oh, wait, was there some stuff in the delta? Oh, it did. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay, so the ISM manufacturing number is actually good. 52.6 versus an expected 49.5. Why are they reacting this way? Construction spending, very bad, negative 2.1 versus an expected 1. ISM manufacturing employment, 42.1 versus 43. They're not hiring. That's bad. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. I think that I should take a profit here. Oh, damn it. Okay. That that is well, let me go through the number again. Construction spending -2.1 versus 1%. That's a really bad number. ISM manufacturing PMI 52.6 versus an estimated 49.5. So there was an expansion in manufacturing PMI in June. Prices 51.3 versus 43, so prices have recovered.
Gary
That's
Rich
good
says who
too.
cares about SJW? The markets don't care about BLM, so I don't as well. Hash.
What the hell is going on here in the 10-year? Whoa. Somebody is doubling down.
I2 Yanth Great says something big happening?
I guess that wasn't me. I'm a faker now. Oh, he pulled it. He pulled it. Never mind. He pulled it. But look, there's this liquidity vacuum above us in the 10-year. It's going to push up. Look at this. Hmm. How have we come out after all that? Oh, we're good. We're real good. Obviously, I could have taken a way better profit on that.
eTrader says how much did you take Sith?
On that last trade, I ended up getting $36 on it. It could have been way better, for sure. When I started seeing it acting all so crazy, I really should have clicked a lot earlier. Oh yeah, somebody's trying hard here, like really, and especially in the treasury, you can see it. Eh. See, the E-mini is fighting them, but the treasury is not. The treasury is just pulling and moving up. Okay, down taking the treasury.
eTrader says treasuries goes in correlation with S. Or backward.
They're usually inversely correlated. but it can change. The way that the E-mini is trading right now is pretty wild. Okay. So that kind of behavior is like they're going to go for highs again, which given the number, I think is justified. But there's still something else out there, right? Because the Treasury is kind of was pushing up really strongly for a bit there. There a little reluctance there. Mhm. Okay, this is a big order at 29. According to the ISM, new orders and new manufacturing golden age has begun, says Zero Hedge. Hmm. Cumulative delta is extremely divergent here. Well, we went from almost up 2 to down 1 in the Treasury. I don't know what to think about this Treasury trade. I'm going to hold on to it. Like they take that 27 like it's not even there. Ugh. Ugh. Yes. You don't want to see that right there, 27. They're coming for us. They're coming for us. Gold taking back almost all of yesterday's rise. Sheesh. And the dollar's getting creamed too. Euros take is moving. Well, now they're almost certain to push. Well, they did push a new high, but they only got like a few ticks. I'm sure there's quite a bit more than that. Hmm. Really, like I should have taken that trade off before the news hit. Frankly, that one trade, this one and this one in the treasury experimental account, but did not work at all. I had some good. How many did I get favorable? 4. So mostly noise. I don't think didn't end up being a good trade. From the perspective of like what I'm trying to get in a trade from the treasuries, it was a terrible trade. Ooh, look at him go. Now the move up to these new highs has been incredibly messy. Oh man, I got the slip on that one. Suck. That sucks. City pulls back on plans for office return as virus surges. New York City will delay indoor dining scheduled for July and de Blasio. Oh, for July 6th, says de Blasio. Gotcha. I think this trade is much more two-way than the cumulative delta suggests. Well, let's look at like some targets here. Does it even make sense for them to continue buying it here like this? 31.23. Downside is 65. Well, that 65 just looks like
Winston's mom says Mike
such a...
Pompeo is speaking to the press.
Okay, thank you. I don't see that on Twitter. Oh, now I see it. Department of State. I think he may already be done, though, because they just posted a video of his comments. So on. I think coronavirus numbers could come in the next 10, 20 minutes and could catch the market by surprise. Or any other surprise news, frankly.
Winston's mom says Ed Henry fired from Fox News over sexual misconduct allegation.
Yeah, somebody else said that too. I don't know
E-Trader
who Ed
says I
Henry
think
is.
there's gonna be a downturn when the numbers will come up.
Oh, probably. I mean, we don't actually know. I mean, yesterday the numbers were good, and but those were Monday, Tuesday numbers, you know.
RJ Wheel says morning anchor guy. Mrs. Henry was a fan.
Hmm. Okay.
Winston's mom says speaking of numbers, please take a quick second to hit like. Thanks.
I know when she's going to do it, and it always makes me smile. Well, there has been a turn here. I think, wow, man. That one was made me a little nervous. Come on. Is that asking too much? 3106.
Gary Rich says 10 years trees VIX right in line with its expected move 0.25%.
Oh, really?
Sunday Driver says, hey, Seth. Did you hear that Ed Henry got fired from Fox News? Something to do about sex.
Who is he? What show did he have? Was he like on the Five? I don't know this. I don't watch television, guys. Ah, thank you.
E-Trader says HHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHH
Okay, I was about to cancel that order there. Did not like that.
Gary
What did
Rich
it
says, what, you
execute
don't
at?
calculate these VIX levels on the other instruments?
No, I can't. You know what? I'm gonna fix that though, Gary. I'm gonna fix that because it's so useful. Oh, 4. Jeez. I think I had a little execution
Gary
screw
Rich
up
says
there.
just do a simple Excel spreadsheet of it.
No. I'm going to switch my data up, and then actually maybe we can do that today. Okay, cool. So I did the prudent thing and just took some risk off because I didn't it didn't do what it was supposed to. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. I was thinking about going back into the treasury, but then I thought, nah, you know what? I can't handle that much at once. Hmm. Well, the E-mini is taking a much harder turn there than I would expect.
Gary Rich says don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Routine's everyday preparation before the markets open, it's called being disciplined.
Sure. Yeah, it's just the issue is that I don't actually have the VIX data from my regular data provider. I don't get it until 10 minutes after the market opens, and that includes for the treasuries. In fact, even if I started paying for the VIX data, my understanding is that they won't give it to me until the 7:30 market open. So, there's kind of some issues with doing the one for the treasuries. But it's curious to me that you're saying that their expected move has been reached in the treasury because that suggests they'll pull back. And I can see it doing stuff down in here. Although they pulled it back up to 28 and now they're coming back down again and I don't like what let's watch 26 half. How much does it take them to push down 26 half? Well, I think that's my cue in the E-mini to get back out for a bit. And let's keep something down in here below in case a crazy move comes through. So that last one was okay, but oh wait, what the heck? I know why. Okay. Ooh, it's the big one, big one. Still haven't seen coronavirus numbers. Okay, so 26.5 is actually being stubborn.
Winston's mom says discipline is important. A wife calls her husband into their son's room. She says, "Look what I found under Johnny's bed," as she points to a suitcase filled whips, paddles, canes, and Winston's mom says cat o' nine tails of every size, color, and material. "What are we going to do with him?" she asks. The father looks at the suitcase, looks at his son, and looks at his wife. Winston's mom says he says, "Whatever we do we shouldn't spank him."
Okay, so it's a pretty strong up candle. Dollar makes a run lower new session lows versus a number of major currencies. Yeah, I guess we should really expect the dollar to continue to weaken. No. See, that's not working either. I don't think it's going to go. In fact, I'm wondering if when we come in, we get coronavirus numbers, if they don't end up being good. That would be funny. I don't know. There's still something odd going on in the E-mini. This seems like incredibly bullish, but they're actually having a very, very difficult time holding some of these prices. If they were to make a meaningful move up, it could be a really big one, like the measured move with the first leg being yesterday. some distribution there, though. Oh, why is that number black? So, yeah, why is the font color black? There we go. All right.
E-Trader says I think I'm going to go.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know.
E-Trader says the market is slow.
It's slow? I don't know. Oh, can I turn there?
E-Trader says I don't like that.
Certainly turned negative now. Thing is, though, we're not to the upside target yet. I mean, if they're going to continue moving up, there's plenty of room left for them to do it. But we're still also in an area where it would be reasonable for them to reverse and test the other side, you know? And it has been incredibly, um, what do we say? Volatile, I guess. Mm,
Winston's mom says E-Trader buy,
darn,
happy todaying.
darn. That was so I got out of that one. I could have held it. Let's try that right there.
E-Trader says it started with good with some volatility, then it stagnated, and I was waiting for the corona number expecting something crazy to happen.
Okay. Well, I that sucks. Had it kind of thought, okay, I'll let me just scratch this and see if it does better for me, and but then it really came through. Now it's in a spot where I don't think that I can just go with the momentum on it, so let's let it come back and see what they do. WTI fades despite biggest crude draw since 2019. Really? Wait, what? Well, oh, that's interesting.
Love Crypto says I missed it too.
What is going on in crude? Rand Squawk tweets Fix is back below 30 for the first time since early June, where the market wobbled post FOMC meeting minutes this evening. Okay. So that might explain a few things. It sounds like that they were able to shut down the chop without any incident. It's kind of, in retrospect, ridiculous that it took them so long to do it. Okay. So here's where maybe if we wanted to turn it higher, we could buy it. But you watch, if I bought it here, like I can see it changed. If I bought it here, you know that's when the coronavirus numbers would come out. So you know what? Let's do this instead. Let's fix this.
Sunday Driver says, where will the
mine.
Dow be on 12/31?
The end of the year? Oh, I have no clue. I can't predict that. Move that out of the way so you guys don't have to see it. And let's see if we can attach to process. Ninja Trader. Actually, I will bring it over and cover it up because it's gonna. Oops. It's gonna stop everything anyways when it hits.
Love Crypto says depends who is president.
Let's fix that. Okay. So, as we were having a problem. Oh, now that we're debugging it says it's fine, huh? That's freaking hilarious. That as soon as I start debugging it, it's fine. You need to go and fix that other issue that if there's nothing in there, it shouldn't try to play the file.
Bot says, good morning all.
Morning, John. Well, shouldn't we already have coronavirus numbers now? They're normally around 8:30, 8:40. Well, we're in this counter trend period. Although the counter trend period has been like really long and turny and weird.
RJ Wheel says A.SO. Nicholas Brown says no one knew got it so no news.
No one knew.
Gary Rich says
Took
for
me
all
a
the
second
single
to
men,
understand what
married
you're
ones
saying.
watch in secret. We need motivation.
Okay, this bug is driving me crazy now. Now that we're. Oh, hey, you know what?
Winston's mom says CNN 14 minutes ago the COVID-19 vaccine candidate being developed by U.S. pharmaceutical company Pfizer and German biotechnology company BioNTech has yielded positive data in early tests.
Wait, what? Oh, I know why it's not working.
Winston's mom says phase 1 study of the vaccine, called BNT162b1, responded to the immunization and it was found to be well tolerated. The phase 1 study is ongoing.
So to fix that, I would have to start stop Ninja Trader, rebuild it, and okay, what's going on here? No. They are doing a lot of funky stuff on the tape in the E-mini at the moment. Look at these hundreds being stacked and pulled all over the place. Okay.
Nicholas Brown says it's like they have the tapeworm.
What? I'm always a sucker for a good pun. Yeah, we already read that study. When that report, that whole thing. That's when I was like, look, the market's up on the vaccine news. This is not a big deal. I wouldn't buy it off of that. Now the ISM number, that was good. That's the reason to buy it. Ooh. We're pretty far
Winston's
removed
mom
from where
says
we
Gary
were,
Rich,
though.
I am delighted my generation only had Dirty Dancing.
Right. It was
Sunday
like,
Driver says by the time they have a vaccine, we'll have herd immunity.
maybe you might be right, son. I, with the way that things are going right now, I don't think that everyone will, but you're probably some areas they, yeah, it might be the case. So they are just churning this thing like nuts. It looks like the buy in the treasury was there, but I'm just not. My read in the order flow in the treasury just was not getting me the spots. Okay, like this is getting a little weird. Cumulative deltas are also incredibly weird right now. Hmm.
Sunday Driver says one research said that the best cure is to inject coronavirus somewhere in the body where there are few receptors. It can't do any damage. Body develops immunity like shooting fish in a barrel.
Ah, few receptors. What does that mean? Yeah, the 10-year has just turned so.
Winston's mom says seriously though, how do they do that?
Sunday Driver says he suggested a needle shot in the anus, right in the bowel.
Right. Wow. I think I already missed like my really good exit.
Gary Rich says I snorted COVID and am immune to it.
Like it's some sort of drug, dude. What the? General Motors Q2 U.S. sales down 34% versus an estimated 35 spot two. John Paulson converts hedge fund into a family office. What?
RJ Wheels says I'm waiting for them to come out with new COVID.
This market looks like it's way too long. Like, you look at some of these moves higher, but then I look at the cumulative delta and I'm like, well, something's up, right? Like, this is not a balanced market still. There's should still be opportunity in it. I don't know if they're gonna like go down below the ISM news, which would be down at like 3093, but like there's something's up. And I think some of this might be because they're expecting coronavirus
Dan H
numbers.
says COVID Classic will be next.
By the way, something's got to be wrong with the coronavirus numbers because they were always out before 8:40. Why is it so much later today?
Gary Rich says oh hold on wrong thing it was cocaine not COVID, my bad. I get those
okay.
things mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
RJ Wheels says Gary you were off by AC hair.
Yeah, and note that as they're going that we continue to see some messing around with the book. That actually is a good spot right there. I like.
Gary Rich says Paulson went family office from hedge fund for tax and regulatory purposes L.
Sunday Driver says researched it. I think condenser mics are the way to go. For me, anyway.
Zero Hitch says one day value will rise again, just not anytime soon. So let's reset everything. I'm mad about the 10-year treasury one. You know what? I've made some good trades and I am positive today, but I'm really frustrated by the 10-year. I really think that the 10-year should go back to 139. And they would just kept dropping it on me. Couldn't catch a spot. But at the moment, I'm more concerned by the. Why have we not gotten any news headlines about coronavirus numbers? I always see numbers at this time, right? Am I wrong? It was always at like around 8:30. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, like. Okay, well that buy looks pretty strong. I think they may actually like reverse that whole thing. I got a good exit there, didn't I? You know what? That one was like they had just pushed down a little bit lower, and all of a sudden I started seeing them dinking around with it and pulling their offers. I was like, okay, yeah, they're gonna flip it. Well, look at the deltas are just crazy.
Sunday Driver says newsflash. There is supposed to be a Biden tape linking him directly to Ukraine scandal. Big if true.
Yes, I've seen this already. So there was some videos released on YouTube a couple of weeks ago that had some stuff about Biden that didn't look good, and um, they've been saying that they have more stuff. They've been saying that they have more stuff and that it's going to paint Biden's role in this whole Ukraine thing in a very negative light. And what they some people are starting to say now that it could tie him directly to Ukraine, but this is one of those, you know, rumor mill kind of things. So we see what they actually end up having when they post it. But
RJ Wheels says Rudy has it.
yeah. So the whole I don't think that one is going to happen anytime is like an imminent release or anything, but we'll see.
RJ Wheels says phone call audio was very serious.
Oh,
Mainstream
yes.
ignored.
The video that they already released, not even the guys on the Donald really paid attention to it, but it was a very serious thing, I thought. They were kind of sitting there going like, okay, well, we tried to warn you guys, but nobody's listening, so now we're going to put the bigger one out. That's totally what they're doing. And now all of the conservative activists are going to be watching for sure. Okay, so we had a push up, we get a pull back.
Gary Rich says I really enjoy giving back profits and not taking winners off. Oh well, Border Collie won't get new hip this month.
Oh dear, Gary. Wait, what are you giving me a video of? Oh, it's a song. Martin Solveig, I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. I think I've heard this song though. You know what? I gave up a really great trade today, right? Two really great trades actually. There was one where I had the imbalance correct and they sold it, but then the news came. I thought, oh, this news must be bad because it's coming down like this. It must be bad. But then it was good, so that trade didn't work out. We got out okay. We got out of it okay. But probably we shouldn't have been, that was maybe a case where I like to play the news, but shouldn't have been playing it like that. Then they had the one where we took like a tick off of it. Remember that one? Now that one made me a little mad. So I took 1 point. It was at 3108. What was it? Yeah, it was when it was at 3108 and then it dropped all the way to 03. And I was like, crap. So then I waited until it came back, and when it was at 05, I took it short and I caught that one down. And that one was really great. In fact, with that, puts us at in E-minis over $50. So hit the goal, although a lot of trades today. So and now we're back to 3,100. Wouldn't you know? By the way, where was the open? Because the data is screwed up and it's not 94.50. The CCP celebrates its 99th anniversary today. Wait, what? Oh, I guess maybe that's right. Okay, anyways. I was like, didn't that not happen until the 40s? But I guess they probably were founded in the 20s. Judge strikes down Trump administration rule denying asylum. Didn't they just have a Supreme Court case about this, and now they're going to strike it down again? Like, are you kidding me? Well, I'm just waiting for this thing to just like collapse. There's, I don't know. There's such a weird imbalance here. And I'm waiting for coronavirus numbers. It's not coming. Oh, wait a second. Oh my gosh. This tweet. Okay. Hillary Clinton tweets, if elected president, you can bet Joe Biden will never tweet about his TV ratings. And Donald Trump Jr. replied, yeah, especially when you take into effect that he doesn't know how to tweet. Oh my god, that is freaking hilarious. I find that one is probably one of the funniest Twitter burns I've seen this year in politics. Oh man. Oh, you guys, we've probably run out of things. Yeah, you guys are probably saying something now. Was that the big news? Your birthday? There you go. No, if you want some good Twitter drama, okay, I know this is like really stupid and it has nothing to do with trading, okay? Like for one, I'm giving you something that really has nothing to do with trading, okay? There is a war going on Twitter between major streamers Ninja and XQC. So Ninja, of course, he was the guy that has gained mainstream consciousness from his popularity being the top streamer for Fortnite. He left Twitch and has since been not quite as popular. And when he left Twitch, XQC kind of took over. And XQC is kind of like I don't know how I want to put him. This is like he says dumb things. Let's put it that way. Sometimes he will say dumb things that he shouldn't say. And he's not really business oriented. Like he probably could be bigger, have like a bigger empire than Ninja at this point, but he just doesn't know what to do. So, anyways, they're taking shots back and forth at each other on Twitter. And when you read that, it is like, whoa, it is like maximum drama. And some of the burns are really funny too. It's just like, wow. So if you're bored and you need a little drama in your life, go and read the XQC versus Ninja thread. That's man, probably one of the biggest, the craziest public figure flame wars I've ever seen. And there's a ton of tweets too. It's like, they're up to like 30 or 40 messages back and forth now. Okay, so we get another little sell, but it's just back to the 3100. The video was clicking a lot, and then they stopped. Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock. This is usually where I take a break because I need water. Elia, what indicators are you using in that? I know that there's shit on the screen, but I don't really pay attention to that. This one over here, I've got some moving averages on there, which are fun. And this is cumulative delta, which cumulative delta is great. And then this is something that I wrote that tells us what the level 2 is doing. Look at that. That was an interesting little change right there. But something's happened. I think the market is chilling out a little bit. So now we got 30 minutes to the London Open. Sure. We'll jump on that Twitter war and lower my IQ a few points. Yeah. Only if, yeah, exactly. Only if you need the dopamine and aren't afraid to kill a few brain cells. You can tell, obviously, the effect that it has had on me today. Okay, let me get some water. Okay, Gary, this is for you. These are two legends in the technical analysis world and very respected. Oops, I didn't want to. I clicked the wrong thing. Control click. There we go. Oh, why is it loading like that? No. There we go. The godfathers of technical analysis, Ralph Acampora and Alan Shaw. Never heard of them. Okay, we'll read it. I'm telling you, like, the thing that I find interesting about it, about the technical analysis, I am still of the opinion. I don't know. I guess maybe this changes from day to day based on what I've been thinking about and how I'm feeling. But I feel like that a past price has absolutely no influence on future price. But I can't help but look at it and see stuff in it and be like, okay. Um, I really can't explain what happened to the market without looking at a chart and doing the analysis on it, right? I know that there's absolutely no, uh, like when there's a price that seems to be significant, there's absolutely no reason that it should or shouldn't go through it based on what it had done there in the past. It's all has to do with the future action, which isn't influenced by what the past price action was. But you still have to know that that price was there to really understand why the market does what it does in the end, you know? But I don't know. We'll see what they say. One of the problems that I have with a lot of technical analysis out there is that it's just way too simple. Like you're just not, the market is going to have arbitraged that edge out already. I think some people will say technical analysis takes advantage of behavioral inefficiencies in the market, and because human nature doesn't change, that inefficiency will always remain. But I don't agree. Everything that I've seen says that that's not the case. That a lot of the technical edges that you can find in the market are actually just a matter of chance, and the ones that aren't are arbitraged out. You don't actually have a positive expectancy on them. That's kind of more anecdotal, though. Only that we do know that technical analysis will, like, over time is self defeating. Hmm. So they've kind of had this steady rise. I'm still not seeing coronavirus numbers. Fed's Dali is speaking now. Employers she is talking to are not ramping up output hiring due to the uncertainty. Would be hesitant to call recent positive signs a recovery. I'm wondering if I should try another trade. I certainly see a downturn here. Certainly see a possible sell here. Yeah. Like the treasury finally moving up to where we said it was going to go in the end. Okay. Seems significant. Hmm. So that drop did seem significant. It was only like 2 points. Pretty quick. I think there might be more in it. They're gonna be eyeing that 3096. We are gonna get coronavirus case numbers from Florida and Texas and California, right? I don't understand. Am I crazy? It's usually out at 8:30, right, guys? Or am I remembering wrong and it's usually out 9:30? So on that one, I just took it way too late. Calling bids. What? They must be reacting to Dali's speech. 'Cause it seems to be like changing around a lot. It's getting stirred up a lot. Dumb thing is I was thinking, okay, well, like I should move my stop and all this, and it came up so quickly. Zero Hedges saying almost as if the Fed will start buying gold next. That would be funny. Obviously not going to happen. Damn it. Well, that one was a good trade, and I did not get the exit right at all, and I couldn't get out and rode it the whole way. That's pretty bad. Hmm. What about using the EMA indicator on your YM chart with the 20 profit stop loss on the profit taker plus 2? Seems like, nah. I honestly, Elia, I think that you can put indicators on the chart to kind of help you um, keep track of things that you don't that you often have a hard time seeing, like how strong the trend is and things like that. But that they really have absolutely no predictive qualities at all. So to come down and say, well, you should take profit after this much or that much, it does like why? IMF, GeoImpath, inflation risks pretty muted at the moment. Yeah, let's just clear the whole thing. I'm starting to think that we could have a real fall because there was a lot of buying up in through this, and the buying hasn't gotten us even close to the daily target or any kind of momentum that would make me think that we're going to get there. And so that could mean that they turn around and they go down for the downside target. And if they went for the downside target, especially when we start getting below like 3094, there's going to be a real flush from positions because there's been some aggressive buying at times. Okay, well, this is where it's been like, okay, move your stop. They touched that low and bounced again at the exact same spot at 97. Okay, that time they went through. Now 96, they went through. Ooh, he is pushing it. The treasuries are getting close. Okay. Okay, so here we have it. Arizona cases come in at 4,878, up 6.2% increase on the day. Fed's Dally, leaving millions disconnected from the economy is not good for the economy or nation. Thank you, Dally. Finally, some reason from the people over at the Federal Reserve. Okay, cumulative delta is still pretty weird and down on the day. Let's see if was there some places where we had some significant absorption. Not really, but there is. The next big spot down below us, if we really get going, is 3092. So, below 3092, you basically have the majority of the volume for the day underwater. Well, or above water, depending on which direction they were taking it. Zero hedge. Okay, Fed's Dally, leaving millions disconnected from the economy is not good for the economy or the nation, and Zero Hedge has let them eat stonks. Oh my god, that's a legendary tweet here, my friend. That was so great. Okay. Treasury's pushing up again in a big old stack at 30 half. 5K right there, man. There was definitely the opportunity in there. I have to say though, the way that this moved has been kind of weird because like earlier, like when we had the initial move down from 139, for instance, pretty ugly, very fast. This one back up, very slow. The depth though is getting extreme. I don't think I've ever seen a negative 7K on that. I'm sure that in times past it has been when there was more liquidity, but that is excessive. There it is, and they take it and they stack again. Oh, is something Is something coming? Is something coming, my friends? That okay? Whoa, hold the boat, hold the boat. They're pushing the 92 now. Ooh, they're coming to the low of the day. Oh my gosh, what's okay? So clearly got excessive there for a moment in the E-mini. You're gonna have to relax for a second and then see if they push below the open. World Health Organization's Tedoro, some countries have a long, hard road ahead. 60% of all cases have been reported in the past month that concern some countries haven't used all the tools at their disposal. Arizona reports a record one-day increase in virus cases. I don't know if that's what moved us. I think that it might have been that Tedros thing might have been what caused some of that action right there. But you notice that they're pulling back. They pulled back through that liquidity vacuum really quickly. But the treasury is not backing off, but there has been some big offers placed now as well.
Ooh. Oh, man. That makes me happy. What was that? Get out of here. Come on. Take it to the low. Let's stop dicking around with this. It's time to end this mess. U.S. Commerce says U.S. firms face possible reputational, economic, and legal risks in doing business with entities engaged in human rights abuses in the Xinjiang province. That was what did it? No, that can't have been it. Okay, there's 92. Oh baby, go! Oh, I'm so excited right now, guys. Can you tell? What is it? Come on, give me some coronavirus numbers. Okay. U.S. delays diplomats return to China on virus concerns. Secretary of State Pompeo doesn't rule out inviting Russians Putin to G7 to cite Taliban bounty controversy. That can't be it either. There's got to be a coronavirus number here. Come on. So, well, that might just be the London close too. Well, let's take the 50 if we can get it. Please, Lisa. Because it's time for me to go. Fine. Cool. Well, I wish that we had more time. Of course, we can sit here and chat a little bit, but this thing is plummeting faster than the SAR bomb. Yeah, I won on that trade. I made 40 on that trade. On one contract. I think there's more in it, but it's 9:30. I gotta go. Today was a good day. In the end. Well, how many trades did I end up taking though? 77. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 1375. So 63 in the end. Still good. Could have been better. I could have done so much better. This one right here. That could have been an amazing. That could have been a pretty good okay trade. I guess I managed that one okay though. This one was worth almost double what I had taken on it. These two were bad, of course. Here was another one. Oh no, that one was okay. This one right here really frustrated me because that shouldn't have been a loss. That should have at least been a scratch. No. We're trading micros, so it was $63. And I also have to point out that I'm not trading the live account on that. We're still recovering. Maybe we could start trading it soon though. That was the serious account though. That was the serious trade account. It was an experiment. So yeah. But I still don't see. Yeah, I don't see more news. That it must have just been that stuff. I don't know. I think there should be more in this though. Given that now they're pushing everybody bought through this whole thing up at 30.92 and now they're pushing it. I mean, come on. This is gonna fall apart. The downside is 30.64. So if they're really able to hold below the open here for more than 30 minutes, that 30.65 is like really juicy looking, They won't be able to resist that. No way. Alex Jones is updated that fireworks are canceled. Ugh. That was a great move, though. And I actually did okay on the exit, too. That's another thing that's nice about it. What was my exit? 30.91. Right there. Not bad. Of course, that's 4 points as it matters, but it was good. It was okay. And it is balancing out. So I am seeing the, I don't know, the ebb and flow of it. Okay. Overall, pretty good. I was able to the one thing I like about today, I did have a few trades where I took on a little bit of extra risk. Like that one, I took on a little bit of extra risk. That one, I took on a little bit of extra risk that I really should have gotten more on. I know that, so that one I'm not too happy about taking on the more risk. But for the most part, I kept the risk really low and came out good. Because sometimes I'll come out good, but it's because I ended up taking on more risk, and that's not good. Yeah. So this is I'm starting to notice. Well, I've always known this, but I'm starting to get into a point where it's like uh, I can really pin it down to you guys in precise language about what the thing is. Um, that when you see retail traders that are doing really well and then later they don't do well, the number one killer is taking on too much risk. And what often happens is you have retail traders that think what they're doing is working, but the reality is they're taking on too much risk. So you can see there, I have done things in the recent past that where I was taking on a little bit more risk than maybe I should. Today, I think we were able to keep it pretty tight, and it was a really churny market, and we were able to catch turns and so forth pretty well. And well, we'll see if we end up moving down in the end. I have to say that my reading, especially of the news and the market positioning, I'm really happy with. The only thing I'm not happy with is my trading in the treasury was atrocious. If we go and we look at my treasury trades, it's terrible. I did those ones on a different account. They were so bad. And I was like, I had the trade. I wanted to take 26 half. You remember I was like even clicking it and canceled it and stuff? Because I said, well, let's just play it on the I had the trade. Could have taken it. But I couldn't see that they were just going to keep dropping at first, you know? I knew in the long run they were probably going to buy it. I mean, the trade was that they're going to bring it back up. So I'm not sure what to do over there. It seems to me that what I've got going is not enough. There's still more that I have to factor into the way that the treasuries are trading. But for the E-mini, it's okay. So what should we name today's video? We got like 3 minutes. We gotta get going. Still don't see anything. Yeah, okay, so that move down was on the Arizona case count. But I still haven't seen Florida or Texas cases. What is up? I must be missing something. I'm not sure what the deal is. Okay, well anyways, today we will say what's the best way to put it? I don't think that vaccine is the way to say it. Fading. Hmm. Man, what can we call it? I'm having a hard time picking a name. That's really what it comes down to. So I've been fading it because I think that they're overbought. I think that the trade has worked out pretty okay for me today. Fading stalled bull run. Okay. Tomorrow, stay profitable, friends.